All right, we have the 4th edition of the podcast, and it's with me and Anneke with a special musical guest, Novus Spiro, who is my friend Jesse, who I've known for fucking years. And I wanted to do this just because I forgot to read some questions I got from my friend Alex. And Alex says, what is your favorite Disney movie and why? My favorite Disney movie is probably The Lion King because I watched that one the most as a kid. Yeah, Anneke, favorite Disney movie?
One of them would be Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet. It's kind of a lost, hidden gem.
It's extremely underrated.
Let's see. Have you seen, she says, Star Wars Rogue One yet? And what is your opinion of it? I did watch it. I was too drunk to remember anything. So
you reported back to me. You said you hated it.
Yeah, but that's... I really should give the movie another watch because I was pretty drunk. Thirdly, what is the meaning of life? Life has no meaning. It just sort of happened. And, you know, you live, you die. That's probably it.
Love is the meaning of life. That's why we do it all. To be happy, and happiness is love.
I just do it because I'm afraid of the other side. And, it's probably just going to be darkness. So, I'm just here for now.
Just a ball of sunshine.
You're a ball of sunshine. And then fourthly, she asks, or she...
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Alex. I'm such a dickbag.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry.
He just looked at me like he had to check with me just to make sure.
I'm sorry. Anyway, why did you ruin your glorious beard? It wasn't that glorious.
It was pretty glorious. If you had just trimmed it once in a while and kept it in check, you wouldn't feel so badly about it.
I don't know. I think I did an okay job trimming it, just cutting it all off.
Well, you basically sheared yourself. That wasn't a trim. That was...
a sheep shearing?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's Nutmeg Tree by Novus Spiro. It's a great song. I'm going to have the whole length of the track, so... it's exactly 5 minutes, so if you skip exactly 5 minutes after I talk, you can get past it. But I do think it's a good track, and the reason why I'm leaving it all in is because I think you get the whole effect of it when it's all together. So, yeah, that's it. Have a good podcast. Tell me what you guys think. I'm probably going to be uploading these on YouTube now since SoundCloud decided to start charging me money, or it's going to hide my tracks. And he only did that after I uploaded the 3rd one, and it hid the one with me and Jeff. And if I uploaded this one, it would hide the one with Bree, Anneke, and I, unless I pay them $67 a year, which I'll just put it on YouTube for free. Yeah, so I hope everyone has a good day. Keep listening and give me your feedback and shit.
The first time I kissed you, it was evening in June, under the nutmeg tree in your backyard. We were splayed on the grass, drunk on its fumes. It just happened, so we let down our guards. No one was home when the street lights came on, and you led me into your room. The heat of the day was still trapped in the dark, and the air was as still as a tomb. For life is too short to truly know another, so it's better off if we don't talk. But I'll be your friend if you'll be my lover, and when you wake up I'll be gone. But I stayed for the night, and when the dawn's yellow light hit our eyes. You started and said, this can't happen again or we'll die. 'Cause love's a rushing tide, and once you fall inside, it pulls you down, my friend. The last time I kissed you, it was 3 years ago. You were scared that we'd gotten too close. That summer you moved to the Atlantic coast, while I sulked round the house like a ghost, waiting for those phone calls you drunk with your friends when you remember to miss me again. We used to write letters, clandestine displays of desire burned by pen to a page. Each week and each month they would grace the wall till love became sincerely yours. I know life is short and you found another. It's like you said in that bittersweet prose. Love can't go the distance, it only runs sprints, then it dies. We take what we can get, 'cause it helps us forget what we can't. But your friends have been saying you're coming to town, and I know you'll kiss me again.
Hey everybody, it's me, Levi. We're 2 days late, and Annike's here too.
Hi.
No, say it in the mic, babe.
Hi.
Alright, cool.
Gonna edit that out, right?
Of course, of course I'm gonna edit that out. Now no one's gonna know what we're talking about, but... so you were talking about Johnny Resnick?
Yeah, I'm really disappointed with him.
Now, who's Johnny Resnick and what band is he in?
Well, he's the lead singer in the Goo Goo Dolls. They've been around since, like, the 80s, I think. They've been going strong. But they're getting old, and I know that Johnny Resnick, he just got married a couple years ago, and he's trying to start a family, so I think he's just tired. Because these last couple albums, like, this is a band that I idolized as a kid because they were so free and creative and thought-inspiring. But these last couple albums are just flat, and all the songs sound the same.
Trite bullshit.
Yeah, and it's very, like, like mom rock, maybe.
Yeah.
Is what you would call it. But I feel bad saying that because my mom has great taste in music, and, you know, she was also disappointed. But, like, you know, that generic shit that moms who need something to hang on to tend to like. It's kind of up that alley.
It's like rapidly aging music.
Yeah.
Music for the rapidly aging.
Yeah, you know, the songs talk about, you know, taking care of the woman and, you know, inspiring her and, you know, supporting her and being in love and all that. Which is fine and dandy when you do it right, but...
Yeah, right. It's kind of like when comedians, like, they'll have kids and then they do, like, 45 minutes of kids' joke. You know, and it's always like the same shit. And then if they're like an ethnicity or whatever, then they'll do their ethnicity material. And then
it just has that same generic feel to it.
And if they're white, they'll do like some Hot Pocket material or whatever. You know, I wonder if comedians can bring up video games. I wonder if video games are ubiquitous enough to you could make jokes about them in a crowd, probably like a young people crowd. But now I feel like young people wouldn't even know. Like, I don't think any young, like, if I went to like a young person crowd, if they're, you know, like if you were born in 1999, you're 18, and you have probably no idea what a PS1 is. I thought they started at 3. Oh, God.
We're getting old.
I know, rapidly. And
we're on the other side of the coin now, babe.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to be 25 in May.
I'm going to be 22 in August.
I know.
We used to be the teenagers, and now we make fun of teenagers.
I can't stand
constantly.
If I have to talk to a 19-year-old for more than 5 seconds, I want to fucking wring their neck. There's something especially retarded about being 19, I think, because it's like you're confident in your ignorance. Because it's like, yeah, I learned a couple things, and I've been an adult for a whole year. It's very sophomoric.
You start standing up for your own opinions more, even though they're not always...
like it's something you just read that day.
Yeah.
And now
now you firmly believe it.
So you bash your mom for not knowing about it.
Yep.
I've done that.
I know.
I've done it to you.
I know.
I do that all the time. But don't worry, I didn't learn anything today, so... Actually, I learned about plague doctors today. You know how they always have, like, that beak, that hooked beak thing, and, like, they have, like, little glass over it, and they always, like, are portrayed in, like, dark robes. The robes were made out of polished leather.
Really?
Yeah, they thought, like, it would seal you off from what was, like, called miasma, which they thought was, like, this rotten air that caused diseases. Because they didn't have germ theory until, like, almost the 20th century.
Right, of course. That was not always around.
So we were still going off the humors, which was a theory that I think, like, the Hippocrates came up with, that there's 4 humors in the body, and then when one's out of balance, that's what's causing your disease. So they were still using that for, like, 2,000 years, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
Man, that's ridiculous. And then, like, they thought, like, maggots just, like, appeared out of nowhere. And then some guy had to make an experiment with a piece of meat in a jar with, like, fine, I think it was, like, a screen over it. And he proved that flies made maggots. You know, because there was this theory of spontaneous transubstantiation or something like that.
What?
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
They
I read
really
this in
believed
school.
These things just popped out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, when you read the Bible, I guess it makes sense.
Ugh.
You know, and there's like no other way to explain things. It's why, you know, it's why everything gets explained, because we don't know. We just have a pretty good idea.
I suppose those were more Christian times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, really, a lot of the times, the only book I think a lot of people would get to read was the Bible, you know?
Everyone had a copy of that.
Yeah. And I'd imagine a book being quite a luxury item back in the day, because, I mean, even with a printing press, I feel like there's a lot of fucking work.
And paper was probably more valuable too, parchment, things like that.
Oh, yeah, people were dying all the time as loggers. They still do, so... Oh, man, now I have all these books I don't even give a shit about.
We have an enormous pile of books These ones are just his. Every time he goes to the mall, he comes home with a new one, and he hasn't read a single one yet.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I remember.
I do the same thing. I have a whole shelf full of them.
Yeah. I feel like I'm one of those sub-retards that, like, pretends to read for a certain amount of time, even though they can't. It's like a thing. According to Law and Order, SVU, there's, like, one episode where, like, this guy was, like, basically, like, Forrest Gump from, like, level. And he would, like, sit on his stoop, like, in public and look at a newspaper for 45 minutes. And
so that it would seem like he was reading.
Yeah, and he had all these books that he never read. They're, like, in his oven and shit. He was just storing them in there. I know, so stupid. I watched so much Law and Order SVU. It's so ridiculous, that show. Yeah.
I remember one time I was on my way to your house. This was when we lived in Hemet, and I got a text message from you out of the blue saying the victim's name is Anneke. And I had no idea that you were watching that show, and that really creeped me out for a few minutes. I texted you back. I said, "What the fuck?"
Oh no, I'm watching Law and Order SVU. One of the victims was Anneke.
Well, what are the odds, though? There's not a lot of those.
Yeah, I remember watching this I Survived, where, you know, people get like a tapeworm in the Borneo and they get lost and they almost shit themselves to death trying to walk back to civilization. So these two Dutch people were lost, and then they had like the reenactors. I guess they had like reenactments, and then they would interview the reenactors as like they were like the real people, and the guy was like talking about his wife, and he's like and his dumb Dutch accent, which I'm not gonna even try to do, but it's like, yeah, and then Anneke, and that's like, oh, this shit's fake as fuck. This guy's dumb.
That's not how you say it.
Yeah, when I first met you and I looked up your Facebook...
You thought I was a fucking weeaboo.
Yeah, I thought like...
You thought I had some stupid made-up name on my profile. I was so insulted when you told me that. Excuse you, motherfucker.
Like, Anneke, is this some sort of like weird weeaboo thing? Of course, in my defense, she had like scene kid hair at the time, and her fucking... She had like dark blue eyeshadow. Looked like a whore.
I was a goth kid, admittedly. Whatever, I looked like a badass.
Yeah, everyone was intimidated by
Everyone fucking loved me. I was the cool kid in class, if you can believe it. As dorky as I am now. Well, compared to all those homeschoolers, I was definitely the cool kid in the class.
Well, the wheat or the cream rises from the chaff, or something like that. The cream rises to the top. That's
the bottom line. Yeah. Right.
I think I mixed it up. I think the wheat separates from the chaff. Something, I don't know. But I think the cream rises to the top is another idiom altogether. So. Well, who reads... If you don't read shitty books, you're not going to bump into cliched idioms all the time. So, and I barely read as it is.
I've never heard that before.
I've heard wheat from the shaft, because that's like an old farming thing, and I've heard like cream rises to the top, and some sitcom, they were making some joke about it. Someone's getting frustrated with somebody else. But now I'm completely lost. What would be a good thing to talk about? Oh,
Jurassic Park.
That's right, we're going to talk about, shouldn't snap my fingers, we're going to talk about Jurassic Park. I fucking love the original Jurassic Park. I was dinosaur crazy during that time.
We still like to watch that movie on rainy days.
Yeah, I used to play Jurassic Park when it rained with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the perfect day to do that. I watched that movie all the time. I couldn't get enough of that fucking movie on VHS. Little things, I remember the little plastic hard shell that it'd have, and you'd like have to squeeze the side of it and it'd fall out.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I think you'd get those from like rental stores. Yeah, Jurassic Park was such a cool movie.
I didn't actually see it until I was a little older. I was like in my mid-teens first time I saw that movie, I think.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's very good.
Yeah, I got I'd always have raptor dreams. and I'd always see them the same way every time. Every raptor dream starts off the same way. I remember I'm walking through like the outside section of like a Lowe's, right?
Right.
And there's just always a big spotlight, and the fucking raptors always walk in front of it, so you see their shadows on the wall first.
Like in the ice cream scene.
Exactly. Every fucking time that happens. That's how they always enter the dream. And yeah, I was obsessed with dinosaurs as a kid. I wanted to be a paleontologist.
Oh, who didn't love dinosaurs? I mean, how could you not?
And there are so many cool Jurassic Park toys. I remember getting like a T-Rex that like actually ate people, and you could like put your hand up its ass and pull out the guy. And now if they made that, some freak would put a fleshlight in it.
Ugh.
So they could
finally, you know it.
Yeah, you know
Fuck
it.
a small plastic dinosaur.
This is my fantasy. Oh, God, people are fucking creepy. They make My Little Pony, like, stuffed animal things, and they have, like, a spot for a fleshlight. And then that company, Bad Dragon...
Oh, God.
Makes, like, multicolored fleshlights that match the pony.
Seriously?
Yeah, and they also have, like, regular horse vagina.
Wow. They're going
color.
overboard with that shit.
Well, I mean,
Goddamn.
if there's a market, right?
But really, My Little Pony, it's such an innocent children's show, and it talks about love and friendship and all these happy things, and then these creeps
can only think about
from the
coming
internet,
inside them.
Yeah, they get a hold of it, and then it's a whole other thing, and pretty soon your kid can't even Google My Little Pony without getting a bunch of porno furry shit.
Right?
Yeah.
We should Google that right now, see what comes up.
Oh, please don't. Oh, God, I don't look at that shit ever again. It's disgusting.
Oh, God. And it's a very profitable venture for some people.
It sure is. I mean, you see how much money some of those people spend on fursuits?
Oh, it's for dick.
Yeah. The people that make those are rolling in dough.
Probably. It's a craft.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get into that. I don't want to do, like, a regular job.
No. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that kind of crowd. I don't want those people near me.
And I wonder what they have to do. So I've added extra teats to it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, everyone's got their own fetishes and everything, but it's when you go super public with them like that's when it starts to get super creepy.
That's when I'm going to draw
It's
the
when
line.
you stop keeping it to yourself, you know?
And that's when people come... I don't know. No, never mind. But anyway, Jurassic Park. Another hilarious thing.
Yeah, back to that.
Speaking of creepy stuff I've seen on the internet, I see all kinds of pictures of Chris Pratt and those raptors, and he's fucking them.
What?
Yeah, people draw that all the time.
I have yet to see that.
You've yet to see
I have yet to see anything like that.
Yeah, they always have them with the blue one or whatever. And I've also seen, like, pictures of, like, dinosaurs fucking cars, like, regular cars.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll have, like, a T-Rex and, like...
I'm not even sure how to picture that. I missed that documentary that illustrates how dinosaurs used to fuck. Do you remember when that came out?
No, but I've seen, like, I used to have a bunch of books, and one of them, like, they'd kind of, like... I know T-Rexes, you know, they're kind of like a triangle shape. So, like, the female would kind of, like, seesaw, like, down. So, like, her ass would be, like, up in the air like a ramp.
Oh, okay.
And then the male could just kind of, like...
Just wiggle on in there.
Yeah, and he'd just lean back, and then it'd be kind of like putting two triangles together.
Yeah.
Right?
Huh.
And then, like, brontosauruses, though, or brontosauruses, it's not a one. But, like, long necks would have to, like, you know, a brontosaurus isn't even a real dinosaur.
Really?
Yeah, it's a misclassification.
Is there not a brachiosaur? Brachiosaurus? I remember reading that.
It's actually like what they thought was a brachiosaur was like two separate species.
Oh.
Or something like that.
Interesting.
Anywho, so, but yeah, so they'd have to take like a female one, but have to like have another one jump on its back pretty much, and they bang like any mammal, but like amazingly the female could like hold like the male, who would, you know, like how many tons do you think like a brachiosaur was? Like 100? You know, I think
quite a few.
They could easily be, I think, 200,000 pounds or something like that, right? They're gigantic. So they'd have to, like, take it. Like, so obviously they didn't have sex for very long. Which is funny now, considering how birds... You ever seen birds do it?
I don't think I have.
I have. Me and Malachi were outside on our lawn, and he was about 18. I was probably 14. And he's like, wow, Levi, look, those hawks are dancing. And these hawks were, like... You know, kind of like flying over each other and locking talons and all that stuff. And it's like, wow. So they land on top of this bare tree, and then the other one lands right behind it. And they just go, oh, oh, oh. Yeah. And they had their wings like out. Like, yeah. And it lasted about 10 seconds and they flew off.
You know what? I did see birds doing it once. I saw 2 pigeons screwing on, like, my friend's neighbor's house.
That's
we were
right.
Yeah, we were all in the backyard, and her dad was there too. I remember he took a drink of his beer and a long drag of his cigarette, and he blew out the smoke, and he goes, "Whore!" He just screams at the pigeon. That was so funny. I loved that.
Just screaming at pigeons.
Yeah, that man was a crack up.
Oh, God. So did you ever see the second Jurassic Park?
I know I saw either the second or the third one. The third one isn't the most recent one, right? There was a...
Yeah.
We're talking about the fourth one that was like this... with Chris Pratt.
Not currently.
That was the fourth one?
That was the fourth one.
Okay, I'm just straightening that out.
Second one is they go back to the island, and for some reason Jeff Goldblum has a black daughter. It's when the T-Rex gets set loose in like San Diego or somewhere.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I've never seen that one. It's significantly shittier.
Oh, I must not have seen that one then.
Steven Spielberg was kind of literally phoning it in because he was working on I think he was working on that and Saving Private Ryan.
Oh.
You know, and he really didn't have any interest in Jurassic Park 2. In fact, when the movie ended up doing so well, they told Michael Crichton to whip up another book so they could make a movie based off of it, and he
whip up another book so that we can make a movie.
And he added characters to the story, or only the characters that came back were the ones that he could get for the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. That is lame.
Apparently the book is readable, but the movie's pretty lame. Like, the black girl is, like, into gymnastics, so, you know, that's gonna come back later. So she uses her stupid gymnastics, and in like, a Home Alone type scene,
That's a bold comparison.
She flips around and kicks a raptor through a freaking window.
Oh,
and it lands
really?
on a spike. Yeah.
Really?
I know.
Wow.
These dangerous killing machines that killed Muldoon.
That thing that could have just bit her foot off.
Yeah. Would have fucking shook her out like a wet towel.
Oh.
I know. Oh, wait.
What a load.
So dangerous.
Ugh.
So dumb. Oh, God. But there is a good part where... they take a T-Rex to San Diego. So inevitably it gets out. It eats someone's dog, of course. They have to show that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, kid looks out his window.
Okay, yeah.
And the fucking doghouse falls out of its mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point at which I would just stop watching. When the dog dies, I've lost interest.
I know.
That's it for me.
It's fucked up.
That's it.
And they even have like some Japanese guy go Gojira real fast. yeah, they do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, sprinkle some Chinamen in there. I got a good idea. Oh my God! And then 3, they got Alan back, Sam Neill, but it was just people walking through the woods. And not a shitty movie, per se. I mean, there were some pretty good parts when the pterodactyls attacked them. We went to Bree's house. We watched that. We got all drunk. It was when she was living by the beach.
Well, that's probably why I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we ended up watching that because it was on, and it's just some people are looking for their kid, and it's really uninspired. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, then they have like the new Spinosaurus that just kills the T-Rex like that. It breaks its neck, which is so like, who's playing this fucking dinosaur? Jason Bourne? Yeah, it's so lame. And only like 3 people die. Yeah. But there's a cool part with like parachutes and getting chased by like pterodactyls, like I said, or pterosaurs, which are fucking shitbag dinosaurs. They just look like they'd bite you. In fact, they use that sequence in 3 that happens in the book, like in the original book. They go through like a cage with it's like incompleted, and it has like pterosaurs.
Oh, that part I do remember. Yeah. So that must be the one I saw. That part I do remember.
And they like, in the book, they're like diving down, like death spiraling down and like biting at them and shit, and they're trying to carry away the little girl. In the book, the girl is younger, and she's significantly more annoying. Like, she's, like, complaining about, like, ice cream and shit, even though after they just almost get killed.
Yeah, they keep narrowly surviving these life and death situations.
It's a brilliant book, but I have no idea why that guy, like, I don't know why the people insist on having annoying kids.
Yeah, they weren't annoying in the movie. They were very good.
Yeah, they were cool. They were really cool, actually. Useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely useful. Oh, you know what we found out? You know when the girl was on the computer in the movie, and she's going through that weird 3D file thing?
Yeah, that crazy-looking program.
That's fucking real. That's a real...
legitimate thing that existed.
Yeah. Like there's...
And was extremely expensive.
Yeah, it was like $10,000 or $80,000 for like this computer in 1996 that had like a gig of RAM, and you know, this was the same type of computer that they used to do the digital work on Jurassic Park and what was that other movie, Terminator 2. So like you understand like how much these like machines were so expensive, because no one had ever seen like the digital kind of artwork that,
and those were good movies. You
yeah,
know, it was a valuable invention.
Like I think Terminator 2 holds up pretty good, and I think Jurassic Park holds up pretty good, because you know when
Jurassic Park's an instant classic.
Well, it's just I'm talking about the CGI, because
I think it holds up really well. I mean, all things considered.
Well, when they look at the big ass long neck, that's in the middle of the day, you know, and the textures is still a little dated, but it's still, you know.
Well, I mean, everything from way back when is going to look dated eventually.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's holding up pretty good.
Yeah, it's still...
And it was in the daytime, and then the T-Rex, I mean, it's at night, it's raining, which always helps the CGI.
There are films that were made around the same time, shortly before that time period, that are just shitty looking. Back then, a couple years ago, now just shitty looking.
Yeah, Event Horizon has some horrific CGI. Blade that came out in 1999, I think, and that has some horrific CGI in it. Oh my god, there's this one called Deep, or The Deepening. No, that's from Bob's Burgers. There's this movie where like pretty much giant worms attack people on a cruise ship. Yeah, it's they never stop growing. You know, like normally
giant worms,
and they eat people, and then like Sean Bean gets eaten in it, and like they shoot the tentacle that ate him, so he falls out of it. He's like half digested, like walking around, and he dies.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's a pretty fucking cool scene. He looks like Harvey Dent and or Two-Face in that Batman movie.
Wow.
Yeah, but way worse. Yeah, it's a good kind of dumb horror movie. If I could just from Deep Water, Deep Horizon. Oh, God, I can't fucking remember it all.
I'm sure once you post this podcast, someone will be able to help you out.
Yeah, I remember like the evil guy holds like a flare gun to like the girl's head, and he's like, I don't know if this will kill her, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, you know, he gets eaten. And there's also like a cool stoner guy that you think dies, and then after the hero and the girl are on the beach, like, oh god, we made it, and then he's like, hey guys, coming back on his fucking surfboard, and he's like, oh, he made it, cool. So it was a good movie. If I could just remember, Deep Rising, Fuck. You know what? I'm pausing this shit. I gotta find out. Alright, it was Deep Rising. That was right. It's an okay movie. It's. I think it's shitty enough that it should always be on Netflix, but it's not. Unless it is. But I would have probably made Anneke watch it by now.
Netflix has every other shitty movie. Why not that one?
Yeah, what's the deal with fucking Netflix and it being like 90% garbage?
A lot of it is just, you're right, garbage.
And I can't wait for a whole bunch of it to be like foreign language shit. Just like how cable channels started making you pay for like Spanish language channels. Mm-hmm. You know, shit you're never gonna fucking watch.
Well, I'm sure like it'd be nice if they added things like that, you know, because not everyone speaks very good English or they just prefer a different language.
I would prefer segregation.
Well, I think if they did that, though, they would have their own category.
Yeah.
Because that's how Netflix does it. So it wouldn't really be an imposition.
I feel like there's just stuff that could be there. I don't know. You know, it's going to be garbage even if I don't understand it or not. So, I guess you're right. Ah, man.
I'm still really upset that they took those Disney princess films off of there.
Well, they still have Pocahontas 2.
Yeah, number 2, the shittiest movie in the entire world.
And Fox and the Hound 2, where they start a band.
Shitty. They start a band.
Totally ruins like the timeless kind of tale of the original Fox and the Hound, where two people are well, you know, two I guess two people. They're anthropomorphic.
So they start this band, and apparently there's all these other dog characters and whatnot that come around and join their little band. I haven't even seen it. I couldn't bear to watch it.
And then there's I think Brother Bear 2's on there too.
Oh yeah. Brother Bear, not the worst sequel I've ever seen, but definitely pretty bad.
On top of the fact Brother Bear isn't even that good of a movie.
I liked Brother Bear.
And then I can't believe they recycled the turning into a bear plotline for Brave. Because if you remember the ads for Brave, like before it came out, the trailers, I mean, it looked like a completely different movie.
I don't recall the trailers.
I like the characters in Brave, but the story definitely needs work.
It could have been better. It could have been a little more intricate than just her mom turning into a bear and like, oh, how do we deal with this?
Yeah.
It could have been a little more than that. But like overall, I think Brave was an excellent film. And Tangled came right after it, I believe.
I think it was
before.
Or
was it right before?
It was before.
Okay, well, even still, Tangled was also an excellent movie. That was a good...
Tangled is great.
Yeah, that was a good several years for movie making right there. Those two films turned out excellent.
Yeah, I think the problem is with what's good about Tangled is that like all the characters are connected in the story, whereas like in Brave it splits off. Like at first there's the whole thing about her trying to find a husband, or you know, like the whole suitor thing. Really think that should have been more central to the plot, and they shouldn't have done the bear transform into a bear thing. I think or have the bear, the evil bear thing be like be more central to the whole suitor situation.
Yeah, no, there's a number of different things they could have done.
I can tell that like I think Brave had too many cooks in the kitchen.
Possibly, yeah.
That's kind of what I feel like. Because that's usually what happens to, like, troubled Disney movies.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened in The Jungle Book, the live-action one. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know anything about who directed it or, you know, anything like that. But just from watching it, I could tell it was like two children fighting over what they wanted. And then mom came in and said, okay, you get this and then you get this. But those two things are horribly mismatched, and they just got smushed together into this really strange movie. And overall, it was very visually stunning, and there was good story. There was a lot of humor in it, good plot. But it was kind of like... It wasn't sure if it wanted to be like a regular drama type thing, or if it wanted to be a musical.
I see.
It was switching back and forth a lot. It had kind of a weird vibe because of that. It's like, well, which way are you going to go, guys? You know, and the musical numbers, while they were good, they were still out of place. And also, I'm really upset that Kaa did not have a bigger role in the film.
Oh, the snake?
You see Kaa once.
Well, calm down.
It's
calm down.
It's just very upsetting because I saw this movie poster of the live-action Jungle Book, and it's of Mowgli sitting on this pillar, and Kaa is there hovering right in front of him, wrapped around a vine or some shit. But it was this really great poster, and it made me think, oh, well, Kaa's going to be a really cool character in this film, and I love Kaa. He's one of my favorite Disney characters. He's great.
Do you have a hypnotism fetish because of him?
What?
Have you never seen all those pictures where Kaa, like, hypnotizes and then eats Mowgli, and it's like, vaguely sexual?
No.
Man, how long were you on DeviantArt? You didn't see that shit?
Well, I just mostly looked at nice art and favorited things. I didn't look at any weird stuff.
Oh.
I wasn't really... Because it's weird stuff. A lot of those, not very good artists draw out their inner fantasies, and sometimes it's just plain creepy.
Well, what's really creepy is when they're not that bad. It was all on model.
Well, that's nice at least.
Yeah. I've been exposed to a lot of horrible stuff. Years of
Interneting
has exposed me to horrific things.
Yeah, I'm significantly less attached to the internet than you are. It's really not that entertaining. I mean, I get Netflix through it. That's really great. But other than that, I go to Facebook. I go to email. I check Google once in a while. I search stuff. But that's really it.
I'd say you're missing out, but it's like, I'm pretty sure I'm missing pieces of my soul because of shit I've seen.
Well, it's just when you spend all of your time on the internet, you're not conscious in real life.
Nope.
You're not in the moment. You're always somewhere else. You're always thinking about something else.
You're in the Matrix.
Yeah, you're in the Matrix. Thank you.
Ironically, you're unplugged from real life.
Yeah. And that's not a very good feeling for me. I don't like, missing my whole day just because I was reading a stupid, or a bunch of stupid clickbait articles. I mean, it's nice if you're actively learning things and, looking up history and all sorts of cool shit. But,
I do that. I usually, if I put on a really long documentary, I usually end up listening through that while I'm looking at porn.
Okay.
So I kill two birds with one stone often.
Thank you for sharing that.
Now I feel othered. Don't kink shame. Oh my god. The Battle of the Ardennes, 1944. Meanwhile, I'm just like, oh yeah. And I'm not masturbating to that, but it's like, it's on the background. Well, this is getting personal.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna get personal, Maybe this will be the personal cast. I'd hope that this would be I'd like to have, other family members on and talk about, significant stuff that happened. I figure if you're nervous about saying it, it's probably interesting. I don't know. We don't have that shield of anonymity.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. I'm really fucking that word up.
That's a hard one.
Anonymity, right?
No, you're putting the M right behind the N. You're saying anonymity.
Anonymity. Is that better? The more I say, I'm getting farther and farther away from it. It's like a riptide of misspeaking. So we're just going to drop that word. It'd just be better if you could hide your identity better. I don't know. A lot of people want to get rid of anonymous aspect of the internet. And it's already, basically, it's happened. That's one weird thing about looking at porn on my phone. It's like, oh, well, you're signed into Google Chrome, and it's like, oh, they know everything.
Yeah, they know literally everything that you're looking at,
and they know shit that you've typed and deleted. By the way, it's so fucking creepy.
Yeah, it's not right. They're just wriggling their filthy little fingers into the corners of our lives. And they're using all that information for something.
Oh yeah, it's because if at some point there's gonna be another Richard Nixon, and he's gonna get information, the metadata that we can't really access. I mean, we're just collecting all this data. We can't really do anything with it. Calm down. It's totally not going to be used to blackmail agitators and political activists. We totally don't have any history of doing that. Sure, we did that to Martin Luther King, and I think the FBI sent they'd send death threats to him. They'd send him threats that they're going to blackmail him, and they'd have recordings of him and stuff. They'd send him recordings of him. And they'd say of him with hookers and stuff.
What?
Yeah, that happened because they were just trying to get him to shut up, and they didn't want to outright kill him.
That's pathetic.
And I'm sure they had nothing to do with his assassination.
Oh, they had everything to do with that. Are you kidding me?
I know, probably. Oh, God.
The government has a lot to do with everything.
Yeah, I don't think that. Especially I think back then when they could just you kill a few people, secret's never going to get out. It's not like there was cameras everywhere, and I don't know, it was pretty easy back then. We kind of live in I don't know, it's going to suck when you can't get away with crimes anymore, I feel like. Because we won't be able to get away with crimes, but powerful people will, so that sucks. Yeah, we're going into, I think, a new techno-feudalism, where you'll be debt, all your debt will be owned by the corporation that owns everything. Because the same 5 companies are they're always fusing together, and God.
Yeah, Disney is buying everything now.
I know, you really can't.
They own Marvel, they own Star Wars.
Yeah, they do. They already had all the girls pat down, so they needed the boy market, and then they advertised to everything in between quite heavily. Oh my gosh, man, what else is going on out there? We got guppies. We got 4 guppies. We got this nice little male who's yellow and purple. He looks like a little Lakers fan.
Oh, he's this nice bluish gray, almost like one of those Russian gray cats, or Persian gray, is that what they call it?
Prussian.
Prussian. I almost had it.
That was a place.
Russian, Persian, Prussian.
Yeah,
I almost had it.
It's not your fault. It doesn't exist anymore. Now it's part of it.
Yeah, it's that really nice color, though. He was the only male in the tank with that coloration.
Yeah, we have a lot of our fish are fucking orange, so we're sick of that shit, and a lot of tropical fish are basically orange. Ugh.
Well, but we got 3 females too, and one's a really nice bright red and yellowy
And we got kind of
color scheme.
2 kind of grayish green ones, and they have yellow tails.
But one of them is a leertail.
Yeah, basically.
Or not necessarily a leertail, but she has a bigger fanned tail than the rest of them.
And when we put the male in there, he started humping all the mollies.
Yeah, he was screwing everything but the females we bought for him.
Yeah, he was just going to town. And they're close enough to interbreed. And then our swordtail was bucking the females, because they'll kind of push their sides up under the other side of the other fish, and they'll kind of they flip their tail around, and it goes into the female fish's cone shaped.
Well, it's not their tail, it's their anal fin. That's what they call that.
Yeah, their anal fin, whatever. And
well, I mean, it's kind of a weird visual, though. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so they just flip this little thing around. It's really funny to watch them do it, man. So we'll see if we ever get any hybrids. We haven't had many babies survive because they keep getting jacked by the other fish. So it happens.
Yeah, so we just have the first batch that made it, and then they pretty much kill everything small enough.
Yeah, and then I'm sure the swordtail Nero, they're kind of known to get pretty hungry at night. And then we have a killifish that's also a carnivore, so I wouldn't be surprised if she picked a few off.
Well, she's got a huge mouth. She definitely could.
She definitely could. That's right. Yeah, we might put some of that. We might put female. We have a little clear case that you can put a fish in if you want to separate them from all the other ones. And it has a little grate at the bottom, so all the little small babies will fall and it'll keep the mom away from eating all of them. And we'll be able to tell when the females are close to going because they get pretty fat, especially guppies.
Yeah, the females, they tend to get a very square shape on their underbelly when they're the mollies anyway. They when they're ready to give birth,
they get swollen with eggs, just like female women. Wait. Just like female people. That's how you know when they're ready. Alright, well, we're gassing out here. We're about 45, more like 44 minutes in. But we're 2 days late, so I wanted to make sure this got out today at least. And we'll try to have one out by Sunday. I mean, we're not like we're ever doing anything. I got this game called Stardew Valley, which is just like a Harvest Moon knockoff, or any of those Facebook games where you have to like farm stuff.
Only there's no in-game purchases, and you can just play the actual game without interruptions. And it's really nice.
It is really nice.
It's an actual whole game.
Yeah, it looks like it was on Super Nintendo, but it's pretty new. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I got it cheap on sale. I've been growing lots of parsnips. And, that's what I've been doing. I've decided that I might be kind of fucking sick of modern games, quote unquote.
Well, what's not to be sick about?
They're literally like all the same, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, well, with that, I think we'll wrap this up. I hope everyone has a nice day, and I'd like to thank my friend Jesse for providing the music. You can catch him on YouTube and SoundCloud as Novus Spiro. I don't know how to spell that off the top of my head. Well, Novus, Spiro, Spiero. I don't know. Yeah, probably gonna edit this out.